Hello and welcome everyone for my first tip video for Football Manager 2017, and it is tips for the A-League transfers and squad registration. Before we get into it, I have got a few saves on my channel. If I can just quickly show you that. There's my channel. I've got a few saves going on at the moment, but I'll leave the link in the description below. Let's get into it. I randomly chose a team, which is Newcastle Jets. Let's get into the video. I hope it helps. We'll get into it. So registration, here we go. Simple for first. Maximum of 23 players have to be can be registered. I advise you only put 21 or 22 in. This reason is because if anyone gets a long-term injury in your squad, you can sign a free agent in that position and they can be registered at any time for the rest of the season, or as long as you want them for on the contract, if they're a good one. That's why I recommend you only have 22, 21 maybe, because if you do get a long-term injury and you don't have the cover for him for that position, it can be awkward. So, or two short-term injuries for over maybe 8 weeks a piece, and if you don't have the cover for the position, it would be very awkward. As you can see here, they only have one left back, so that would be very awkward if he was to get injured. That's why I'd advise only 21 or 22 players. Next on the list, a maximum of 5 foreign players. Basically, foreign players are anyone that are not from Australia or New Zealand. You can have the second nationality as Australian, that still counts towards an Australian citizen, and will not count for a foreign player. But there's a catch. If you're going to play long term and you're trying to win the Champions League with an A-League team, be aware that the Champions League rules are different. As you can see on the screen at the moment, in the Australian Champions League, you're only allowed a maximum of 4 foreign players and a maximum of 3 foreign players, not including an Asian player. So basically that is, if you're signing 5 foreign players from the EU, you will only be able to register 3 of them if you get into the Champions League. Now the other 2 will become unhappy. So I advise you sign 3 players from wherever you want in the world. If you want to sign 4 players from Asia, that's not a problem, you can do that. But only 3 outside of Asia for your squad for the season, because if you leave a player out of the Champions League squad, they are going to be unhappy, and then that could cause unrest for the rest of your team. Back to the squad registration rules in A-League. So that's the 5 foreign players rule covered. Maximum of 20 over 20 players. That's pretty simple. You can only register 20 players over the age of 20. So 3 of them must be 19 or younger. So that's pretty simple. Minimum of 2 goalkeepers in squad. It's simple, really. Here comes another tricky one. The maximum squad salary of 29,500. So basically, you have it, as you can see here. As you can see, the wage budget on the right hand side here is £29,530. So you cannot go over that. Sorry, you can go over that, but you have to add designated players to go over that. Let's quickly go into the scouting. As you can see, wage budget available, £2,000 £2,000 a week. Salary cap budget available, 11,000. Because we're paying 11,000 under the salary cap, that's how much is available. But because the Newcastle Jets aren't rich, they only allow an extra 2,000 per week. Now, designated players are, let me show you here. Go on your show filters, untick realistic transfers, and tick realistic transfers DP only. Basically, a designated player is chosen by the board. The board will decide whether they are on a designated contract. As you can see, the main players that do get the contracts are the big ones like Demba Ba, Joe, Gary Hooper, Sandro, Martin Olsen, Benifi, Martins, sorry I got his first name wrong, Chiati. I'm not very good with pronunciation, sorry, but you get the gist. Your board will decide who you can offer a designated contract to. Are you allowed 2 of them? As it says there. Newcastle Jets currently have 0, so that would be a good start for someone who wants to play in the A-League and get a challenge, because they're not very rich. So this would be a very interesting challenge to start with. A maximum of 1 mature age rookie. This is the one that I'm not too sure about, but if I remember correctly, they have to be over the age of 38, or it could be 40, and they obviously are allowed in your squad and they do not count to your salary cap. Also, on that note, if you are looking at going over 23 players just to get them better, that's not available, because if you leave them out as a squad registration, they will automatically be offered a mutual contract agreement, so they will no longer be at the club, and it will cost the club money in doing so in the process. So the way around that is to, we'll just get the dates up now. Here is Tuesday the 18th of October. So that's the end of the squad registration, and if the player isn't registered, they have to be loaned out if you want to keep them in your squad. If they're not loaned out by then, like I said, they will leave your squad, and the player released after this date will still count against the salary cap to a sum of their release fee. So depending on how much it costs to release them, it will go against salary cap still. So it's not worth doing. It'll cost you money in signing the player, on signing fees and agent fees, and in the long run you're not going to be able to keep him. The way around that, like I said, is a loans, and if you can get players on youth contracts, they do not have to be registered, and they can play for you at any time. So I recommend getting a few youth contracts in, even if it's just for backup. Just have a few of them, maybe scattered around different positions, so if you do become stuck for a position, you can rely on a youth player, or like I said, leave a space open for the free agent. And I think that's everything in the A-League that you need to go through. There's not much more to say about the A-League for the transfers and squad registration. I know a lot about the Australian A-League because I watch it a lot on the telly. I do follow it. I am from the UK, but I do follow the Australian A-League a lot, and my personal save is with Perth Glory. So for that, we'll end the episode there of this first tip video on my channel. If you enjoyed it or it helped, please smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you've got any anything that you'd like for tips on, please leave in the comments and I'll bring you that video shortly. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you shortly. Bye bye.